So I want to share a vision that I had in the spirit. It was of a company of 50 youth. And I saw prayer rooms all over the U.S. and all over the world, really, but I saw it mostly in the U.S. where they were raising up young people. I believe this will happen overseas and in places like orphanages where we're seeing houses of prayer raised up. But it was 50 at a time in the place of prayer before the Lord. And I felt like the Lord said, you can do this, houses of prayer. This is much easier, actually, than waiting for the most gifted young adults to show up at your door. Begin to raise and train the young ones. Find the musical teachers, find the ones who are able to teach about spontaneity and flowing in the Spirit, and set them in the place of prayer. You know, it takes 15 years at least to raise up a prophet. I believe that Samuel was not full-on a prophet until he was in his young adult years, and yet as a child he was set before the Lord and he was taught to minister to God. I believe it's so important at this hour, and so doable, to raise up young ones, to set them in the place of prayer. Most of our churches, most of our prayer rooms are empty during the week. Why not in the mornings? Why not homeschool youth? Why not after school sessions where we're raising up the young ones? We're getting them in the place where they can learn to play the music, they can pray the scriptures, they can train in meditation on the Word, they can be developing the song of the Lord in their own hearts while they don't have to wait for the applause and the performance orientation that most music and arts are related to in this hour. I believe that the Lord wants to restore a spirit of the tabernacle of David in our midst. That spirit moving where the older ones taught the younger ones, and they just ministered to God, and God loved it so much that He gave them words out of heaven, He gave them new songs, He gave them new ways of playing, He gave them new understandings, all of these things, and it shifted the atmosphere. Beloved, we need the atmosphere of our cities, of our regions shifted around, and God has ordained one way to do it. It's not by moving earth, it's by moving heaven. And I believe youth are the easy ones to get involved because they're willing, and because a little bit of training and some continuous practice in that place of prayer, because our prayer rooms are empty anyhow, they can practice in that place of prayer and be on fire. Give it 5 years. You can raise up this generation so much more quickly than you think into the place of actually shifting the atmosphere in the Spirit in your city. And so what I saw was 50 youth at a time all over the country in these prayer rooms, in the mornings, in the afternoons, in the times when no one was really going to come anyway, but they wanted to be before the Lord. You know, I sought the Lord for years on the Tabernacle of David, spent hours and hours and hours meditating on the Tabernacle of David. Couldn't understand why the Lord said, I'm going to restore the Tabernacle of David. And I wasn't understanding, why not the Tabernacle of Moses? Why not the Temple of Solomon? He says, I'm going to restore the Tabernacle of David. And I cried out to Him, thinking I was going to get a theological answer. Lord, why the Tabernacle of David? And this is what He said, because I miss it. I miss it. I miss when the people were in front of me on a daily basis. Beloved, this shift of a lifestyle is not rocket science. It doesn't take rocket science to know that the heavens are beginning to shake. It doesn't take a seismologist to know that the earth is going to shake. It doesn't take any of this. The Bible is clear, and the times of shakings, subtle though they be, have come. It is time we get this next generation in front of God. If we do it, imagine the grace that will be on the church in just 5 years. Think about what it would look like if we had trained young people before Him 5 years from now. How different could a city be? How different could a region be? I hear so many people talk about they're going to have a city of refuge. Their city's going to be a city of refuge. Beloved, the Lord is inviting us into our part of a city of refuge. Raise up a generation who know how to enter into the rest of God now. Raise up a generation who can minister to Him in joy and gladness, so that when the darkness covers the earth and the deep darkness covers the people, there is a generation alive, awake, and unafraid in that hour.